This is Dabu7. I want to share with you here a good list of information in regards to Ebola. Shoutouts to TruthNow88 over at GLP. I'll leave a link so you guys can read this, and this is lengthy, but this is going to give you a good understanding on what's taking place here with this Ebola, because there's not just one strain floating around. I've recently showed you how George Soros, Bill and Melinda Gates and their foundation have been connected to the bioweapons lab inside of Africa where this is all being tracked back to. Now when you follow the paper trail, as of last night I put out a video, bombshell, showing that the United States government owns the patent on Ebola and everything and all the processes thereof. Now, this goes back to the late 60s and 70s. It's no secret the United States experimenting with all these weapons. But what most people don't understand is the length in which they're going here to spread this. And they're going out of their way more so to let this thing get out of control than they are to prevent it by far. Now, you have Ebola. You have Lassa and you have Ebola Lassa. And I'll break those down here so you guys can understand exactly what these viruses are. But I first want to point out the mortality rate in these regions by these two different strands. And although he has natural, it's in my belief, they can track this back to rodents or this and that from here or there, but I do believe that everything that you're seeing here has been engineered one way or another. And I do believe that they're doing some fine-tuning at the last moment. I also just put out a video with Barack Obama putting out an executive order on a newly revised quarantinable communicable diseases list, which means that, as I'll show you all this down here. There's a lot of information here, guys. This might be a long video, but all the information's here. Now, what's the concern with Lassa fever? Well, as I showed you here, we're not looking at one Ebola strain, the 76, the Zaire, which they have been focusing in on. And normally when they do that, you need to be looking around elsewhere because they're trying to keep your attention in one spot. The fact of the matter is, as I also covered yesterday, the head of the WHO, the World Health Organization, has come out and stated we have got to cut this off. It's moving faster than we can contain it, and we cannot let this get a jump on us because it is a virus. It mutates. It changes. It adapts to the environment. This is something you're not hearing the mainstream speak a word of. Now, the big thing here is that the mortality rates here show, and the incubation periods, show that there's different strains in the region. So when you go looking in depth at recent activity, can we find any more guilty evidence toward this government? Well, let's look at the revised list put out here April 4, 2003 under Baby Bush. And he put this out under the severe acute respiratory syndrome, SARS. We all remember that. And that's what I said when I covered this as well. This not only covers SARS, but MERS, other stuff having to deal with the respiratory syndromes. Now, what Obama's done here is, from this point, transmitted from person to person that is either causing or have the potential to cause a pandemic. You see, this wasn't in the playbook. But you see here, person to person predominantly, and this is where the CDC's been lying to you because they've known the whole time, or by aerosolized or droplet route. You see that? That means via air, just like the head of the WHO just warned yesterday. This newest outbreak is showing the ability to move via air travel, something that none of the others have ever shown throughout history. This is coming from the top of the World Health Organization. I said this yesterday. This is big time. You are looking at a bioweapon. Ladies and gentlemen, this isn't just a freak thing. Please. I know most of you are smarter than that, but as you can see here, Obama, last minute preparations, tweaking all of this into place for this upcoming pandemic that is by design. Now, you have so many people out there with different theories and ideas. Okay? And you have people trying to say that there is no Ebola, that no one's died, and that it's just a fear tactic so they can start sticking everyone with the serum that's really the deadly thing. Now listen, down the road, that could be very plausible, but I can guarantee you this much. Ebola is very real. People have died from it. And from those of you who think that it's 100% fake, it's all mainstream media, you're wrong, in my opinion. Okay? I'll side 50-50 with you on the fact that they can use these serums down the road against the people as well. But the fact that no one has died from Ebola, I do not believe whatsoever. I believe people are dying. I believe it is being transmitted. I believe they are tweaking this, and I believe that this will be what is responsible for this pandemic. There's not another disease out there right now that's moving so quickly, unless, of course, you want to start to just usher in all of the diseases that are taking place now. Everything coming across the border. We're looking at this new bacteria that is popping up all over the place. This new flesh-eating disease. I mean, there's a lot of things coming into the fold these days, and you know, you get caught paying attention too much to one thing, and another thing can get you. Now, moving on, we have TechMera. Some of you may have heard of this group. It just so happens to be heavily funded by, guess who? The United States Department of Defense. Imagine that. Now, they dosed their first subject in a phase 1 human clinical trial of TKM Ebola, an anti-Ebola viral therapeutic that is being developed under a U.S. $140 million contract with the DoD biotechnology. With, guess who? All the big monsters are coming out to play in this. Monsanto funding them, and they came out and they even made a statement that they received $1.5 million in a milestone payment from Monsanto. You see, the demons are all in this mix. And what has Monsanto done recently? And this is what you need to keep your eyes on. It's the same thing as if you want to keep your eyes on the elite. You see them all starting to flee the city, we bet you it's going to get bombed, right? Same thing goes for here. You start seeing Monsanto investing in stocks in Ebola treatment. Guess what? We have a pandemic coming our way. When the billionaires and the boss hogs in the game start to throw their money in this direction, it's about to happen. They're not throwing their money away, I can guarantee that. That's how they've made their money and their fortunes. Now, I'm going to show you here the results, and this is huge. This is an abstract look at the undiagnosed acute viral febrile illness. And this was a study done here by all the people you see here, done at Fort Detrick at their U.S. Army Medical Research Institute of Infectious Diseases. And what they've released here is that in sampling these 500 to 700 samples to the Geneva Government Hospital Lassa Diagnostic Laboratory in eastern Sierra Leone, generally only 30 to 40% of the samples tested positive for Lassa virus antigen. Thus, 60 to 70% of the patients have acute diseases of unknown origin. This is what the mainstream media will not tell you. As I reported, this thing is a virus, and the WHO World Health Organization leader stated this thing can mutate, it can change, and already they are seeing some 60 to 70% of an unknown origin. I've showed you who's behind this. Who has the patents? Who has the money in the bioweapons labs? Where it was created and where it's all coming back to. Okay? This is real, guys. It's in my belief, this is a bioweapon by design, 100%, and a pandemic is slowly creeping our way. Okay? It will take time, and it surely will do so. And over time, this thing will creep and creep and creep. And then once it hits the United States, the thing is panic. That's what they're going to want to play off of. So I'm telling you, be smart, be wise. Don't be quick to go run out and get stuck by no damn needle. Because next thing you know, half these people could be running around like zombies. At this point, they are the ones behind it. They have a cure. They know it, and just like AIDS and all of these other diseases out here, they're not releasing it because it's all done as a bioweapon. That's my belief. Everything they're doing makes them look guilty. The patents, the money, the funding, the whole nine, the research, the bioweapons labs, the new strains, the revised list of quarantinable communicable diseases. I mean, it goes on and on. All these last minute preparations, it really does look like they're prepared for something here. So you should be too. That's why I wanted to put out this information. I'll leave links as always and keep you guys updated as I get more. But man, there's not a better place to find more information. And shout outs once again to Truth Now 88. There is just info for days here, guys. Okay? This has been Dabu7. Eyes open.